Where words conceal, energy always betrays. You've probably heard the saying that energy does not lie. This means that as we are receiving energy from other people in the form of their thoughts, because thought is a form of energy, we are capable of picking up on those energetic thought signals and knowing what this other person is thinking of, what kinds of thought signals they are energetically sending out. This is the principle upon which all of what we refer to as psychic abilities are founded. Psychic abilities are nothing more than learning how to tap in more consciously to what your subconscious mind already knows. Because on a subconscious level, we as human beings are all connected in one giant web of human consciousness. We are perpetually transmitting and receiving signals energetically in the form of thoughts and feelings to one another. This means that when someone secretly feels a certain way, in this case, in the context of this video, when someone secretly is in love with you or feels lovingly toward you, this means that regardless of what they are saying or not saying with their physical words, you would still be able to pick up on those energetic signals of love. So in this podcast episode, I am going to be sharing with you psychic signs that someone secretly loves you based upon this principle, this ability of our own mind to translate energetic signals from other minds. But before we get into that, let me introduce myself. My name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. Love energy is the most powerful frequency on the planet. Some people believe that fear is more powerful than love, but this is not true. It's simply that fear is, at this time on the planet, the dominant vibration, the dominant frequency of the planet. So love energy is something we must actively, consciously cultivate, whereas fear will naturally, voluntarily overtake us or influence us externally. So how does this apply to this podcast, to how to know if someone secretly loves you? Well, because love energy is so strong, when someone is actively cultivating this love energy, meaning they are consciously thinking loving thoughts persistently about you, you will very easily begin to pick up on those love frequencies, on those loving thoughts. Now, the problem is very often your conscious mind gets too involved in the translation process. Your conscious mind steps in and says, wait a second, how can I know logically what I am intuitively sensing? Because on this intuitive level, you will easily be able to sense that this person loves you, but your conscious mind will implant these feelings of doubts and create this kind of confusion. In fact, this may be the very thing that led you to this podcast video, because there's a part of you, that intuitive, energetically sensitive part of you, that knows you are capable of sensing the energy from other people. And in this case, perhaps you already know that you've been picking up on love energy from this person. but your conscious mind keeps overlaying these doubts. So I would say the very first sign is over the course of time, you've been receiving intuitive hits about this person's love for you. In today's society, we are so programmed to really downplay and doubt our own powerful intuitive abilities. So become accustomed to asking yourself, why am I beginning to wonder if this person loves me? Is there something that I'm picking up on here intuitively? And begin to start leaning into that intuitive voice, because that alone could be strongly speaking to you about the energy you are picking up from this person. But what is the first more tangible sign that someone loves us? Secretly, of course, in the context of this video. Love energy, because again, love is the most powerful frequency on the planet. Love energy carries a strong magnetism. So essentially, in this case, the person you have in mind may have magnetized themselves with this love energy through these loving thoughts toward you that are beginning to now create this magnetic pull between you and this other person. Now, interestingly, you are actually capable of picking up on this magnetism, on this magnetic love energy that is beginning to flow to you from this person. So if you find yourself randomly wanting to be closer to this person completely out of the blue, with no conscious feeling of, I'm thinking about this person a lot, or I'm attracted to this person, none of that in this case. Simply you begin to find yourself wanting to be close to them emotionally or physically, wanting to reach out to them, wanting to create depth in that connection. And you can't really understand why. Again, this could look very physical. It could look as though you simply find yourself wanting to stand closer to them while you are speaking. This is a major sign that this person has been thinking of you lovingly, in a loving way. And this love energy is literally beginning to magnetize the two of you together in the physical world as well. Now, of course, the natural question here is, well, how do I know if I was already thinking and feeling love to this person in return? How can I know whether I am the one creating this magnetic energy and pull, or whether it is this other person who is sending this love energy to me? Well, in this case, look at how the other person is behaving or has been behaving. Do you notice that this person seems to always want to be closer to you physically, emotionally? They are seeming to ask you more questions about yourself and your life, more in depth. Again, they're wanting to create that closeness unconsciously, whether it's physical or emotional, with you. This is a very good sign of the start of a magnetic love pull between the two of you. Now, what is the third sign that someone secretly is in love with you? Well, remember that ancient saying that is so powerful because there's so much truth to it. The eyes are the window to the soul. Just like I said, energy does not lie. The eyes often cannot conceal our true feelings and intentions, even if we try to deny those feelings with our words. Very often, if someone is feeling or thinking loving thoughts about you very consistently, this means that around the idea of you, they have the energetic set points of feeling love. What do I mean by energetic set points? Well, whenever we all individually think of a certain person, a certain thing, a certain topic in our lives, it causes us to naturally gravitate to a certain energetic set point, usually depending on prior thoughts, feelings, and experiences with that particular thing or person. So for example, if you have had a lot of fears and anxieties and bad experiences in the past with money, then when you hear the word money or when you hear about the concept of money, you may naturally feel yourself getting a little bit anxious, a little bit uncomfortable. This signifies that your energetic set point around money is in a lower vibrational space, in a space of fear or anxiety or uncertainty. Similarly, when a certain person makes us think a certain way or feel a certain way, when we have a high vibrational energetic set points around the idea of a person, then whenever that person enters our mind, enters the conversation, or enters the room physically, it will cause a noticeable change in our physical body and in, of course, our eyes, our facial expression, as we unconsciously react to that energetic set points. So I know this is a little bit abstract here, but it's really groundbreaking if we learn how to read this, because imagine that this person has been thinking a lot of warm, loving, kind sorts of thoughts about you because they are feeling this love for you. When your name comes up in conversation or when they see you when you enter the room, they are naturally going to gravitate to that set point of love, happiness, excitement, that very high vibrational place. And this is going to show in their facial expressions, in their body language, but especially through their eyes. So if you notice that when you are around this person, their eyes begin to look warm, they may look softer, and simply it looks as though they are looking at you lovingly. And you may wonder if this is your imagination, but again, that is just the conscious mind trying to overlay doubts on what your intuition is picking up on about this person. So what is the fourth sign someone loves you? When someone is daydreaming about you a lot, as we often do when we are in love with someone, you may actually be able to pick up on these exact visuals that this person is transmitting to you. Because remember, we are all energetically connected on a subconscious level. So when this person is thinking vividly, daydreaming about being with you in some kind of a romantic sense, whether this is taking you on a date, giving you a hug, holding your hand, whatever the case is, and they infuse that visual with a lot of positive emotion, this means that although we are always able to pick up on these visuals from other people, they are usually much more weak. But when they infuse this love energy, this strong emotion into those visuals, that energetic signal takes on a kind of power and speed, because emotion literally charges our thoughts, our feelings, our visuals. This is also why people in the law of attraction community will tell you that it's so important that when you visualize what you desire, when you're trying to manifest something, they say that you should put as much emotion into it as possible. This is because, again, emotion amplifies the energy of something, causes it to move more strongly and more quickly. In this case, the emotion of love infused into this person's daydreams of you causes those visuals to reach you more quickly and more easily than they would otherwise. So pay attention if you're simply going about your day and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, you receive this sudden daydream or visual of you romantically with this other person. And finally, what is the fifth sign that someone is secretly in love with you? you yourself are getting the urge to call and text them or communicate with them, however you two may communicate in the physical world, and you can't understand why. Again, this is one of those signs that's easiest to interpret if you're in a position where you are not necessarily actively thinking of or desiring to reach out to this person yourself, because of course that can complicate this equation. But if you're just going about your day, going about your life, and all of a sudden you get these strong urges to text this person, you may even go to your phone, go to their name in your contacts, and then stop yourself and say, wait a second, I don't need to or want to necessarily communicate with this person. Where is this coming from? Know that this can be another sign of two things. One, it can be another sign of that magnetic pull we were talking about earlier, that this person could be creating between the two of you as they think these highly loving and therefore highly magnetic thoughts about you. But the second thing that this could mean is that they are literally thinking of communicating with you. So they may be reaching for their phone, typing in your name, typing out a message to you subconsciously because they have a lot of emotion. And maybe some of those emotions are anxiety. They're thinking, should I text them? Should I call them? Should I not? They're putting a lot of thought and emotional energy into the idea of communicating with you. So once again, those emotionalized thoughts reach your subconscious mind much faster, much more easily. And you are now therefore picking up on those thoughts and thinking that the urge to communicate is originating with you, when in actuality, it is something your conscious mind is interpreting from the subconscious, which is picking up on this person's thoughts of communicating with you. So the question really remains here, how do we actively cultivate this kind of magnetic pulling effect between us and another person, whoever we desire to communicate with or to create connection with? Because all connections are actually created first in the mind, first in the energy, and then they are manifested physically. Now, many people may deny this fact because they might say, well, I used to daydream and think a lot about my crush, but my crush never felt these urges to communicate with me. They never reached out to me in that way. They never seemed to reciprocate my feelings. But here is the caveat to that. The thing is, most of us are transmitting a very confused, conflicted signal about these other people, especially those we feel romantic feelings about. Because usually when we have a crush on someone, we not only feel that very magnetic love energy, but we also feel a lot of fear. Will this person reject me? Does this person like me back? We feel a lot of anxiety. And in fact, very often, especially if we don't believe that this person could possibly return our feelings, those negative thoughts and beliefs cancel out that positive, magnetic, loving signal. Because very often we allow ourselves to feel more negatively about the idea of that person reciprocating our feelings. We allow ourselves to feel more doubt about that than we do allow ourselves to experience the positive, the what if I could cultivate this connection with this person. So the key here is not only to powerfully radiate this magnetic love signal, this loving frequency, but also to eliminate and uproot any of those negative thoughts or beliefs that are canceling out that magnetic vibration. The problem with doing this is so many of these negative thoughts and feelings are actually deeply unconscious. And it's very difficult to change the subconscious mind because the conscious mind acts as a kind of gatekeeper to the mind. So this is why subliminals can be so powerful for really reprogramming anything in the subconscious mind, for magnetizing your energy for anything you desire in life. But in this case, for assisting you in radiating that magnetic love energy to someone while simultaneously fully releasing and uprooting any negativity that may be preventing you from creating that magnetism in your life and in your relationships. So on my website, soundandsoulful.com, as you can see on the screen, I've created over 100 of these very powerful subliminals for each and every area of life. So I have subliminals for physical appearance changes, for mood shifts like confidence and happiness, for money, for material manifestations, but specifically for love and relationships. For this exercise, for assisting you in creating this magnetic pull between you and this other person, I would most highly recommend my subliminal for manifesting a specific person. Now, I will leave the details for this in the pinned comment and description box under this video, but essentially this is powerfully created to magnetize your energy for receiving love from the person you desire by radiating positive, magnetic, loving thoughts to them, and at the same time, eliminating any of those negative subconscious thoughts that can cancel out that magnetic power. So the link to this subliminal to manifest someone specific is again in the pinned comment and description under the video. You can try out this subliminal or any of the more than 100 I've created completely free for 7 days by creating a free trial account on my website. And again, all of that information is linked below. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bell so you get updated when I post new content. I hope you have a wonderful, beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you again in the next podcast.